Hi everyone, let me ask you a question. Have you ever tried to explain what you do to your family and friends and gotten a blank look? Or is fear holding you and your online business back right now? Now, if you answered yes to either of those, you're going to love this month's free newsletter. How do you get a copy? Head on over to writecom.com now. And by the way, if you want to make more money with your online business, you are going to love our coffee bean money making idea inside. So head over to Writecom, that's WRITECOME.com, and you'll find the newsletter waiting for you over there. Hi, this is Barry here, and you are very, very welcome to today's podcast episode from writecom.com. And today's podcast episode is entitled, Whose Opinion Are You Living? Now, to me, this is scarier than any horror film you will ever imagine. Because, unfortunately, a lot of us lead lives that aren't even our own. They are lives that are based on someone else's opinion. You know, sometimes when we're growing up, something was said to us, maybe by our parents, maybe by our friends, maybe by some guardian, maybe by some teacher, and we feel that that opinion that they have of us is the truth. And unfortunately, a lot of us kind of live our lives on this opinion. You know, we are kind of set on a path, and that is the way we think we should be. Now, maybe to explain a little bit better would be maybe just to tell a little bit of a personal story. Now, this isn't something from my life, this is something from my wife's life, and if she probably knew I was sharing it in this podcast, she would probably wring my neck. So, I know she's not going to listen to this podcast probably at any time, so I know we'll get away with this story here. Now, when my wife was growing up, she lost her mum at a very young age due to cancer. Now, at the time, as you probably imagine, you know, when your mum is on the verge of passing away and you're very young and you're a little bit confused about what's happening, of course, you know, your schoolwork and all that is probably going to suffer. Now, unfortunately, my wife went to a school where the teachers were nuns. And from the story, I have a great dislike of any nuns because of this. Now, what happened was one day my wife was at school, and I'm not too sure if she hadn't got her homework with her or whether she got a question wrong in the classroom. But what happened next was really disgusting, in that the nun made my wife stand on a desk, and she made all the kids in the classroom point at her and repeat this message over and over again. This girl is stupid. Now, it probably seems like something that you would probably see, you know, in the Matilda movie where, you know, Miss Trunchbull was just a complete and absolute bully and, you know, destroyed the kids that she was teaching in that school. Now, I don't know about you, but, you know, as a parent, if I knew that any person who was educating my child, you know, said something like that and kind of publicly humiliated them and got the whole class involved, you know, repeating over and over again, this girl is stupid. I think I would just be, you know, I would let loose. I would be in the first car that I could find and I would be straight round to school, probably to wring her neck. But anyway, I don't think at the time her dad knew of what had happened, but that moment was kind of a really kind of pivotal moment in her life. And it was an opinion by a nun who, you know, who was a complete and absolute bully, who should never been in that position where she was teaching young kids. But with my wife being young, she took that opinion to heart. And even though, you know, she's grown up a lot, you know, she has done a lot in her life, I know that that is at the back of her mind. I know that that opinion has followed her through life. And I'm sure if we looked at maybe a lot of the things that she had took on, maybe the jobs that she applied for, maybe the courses that she went on, maybe the things that she tried and maybe gave up early, are all down to that opinion of that nun saying to her that she was stupid. And again, kind of reinforced in by all the kids saying the exact same thing to her. So I know, you know, in that moment, my wife's life went on a path because of an opinion of one nun. Now, I know my wife is far from stupid. I know my wife sometimes is far more clever than me and sometimes shows me up. But she's clever in her own different ways. You know, maybe not academically, maybe as maybe some others of us are, but everybody is kind of clever in their own way. You know, they've got their skills, they've got their talents, they have a lot going for them. And unfortunately, as I said, she just took on that opinion and lived her life. And to me, that is really, really scary. That a lot of us are walking around and leading lives that aren't even ours. We haven't got a good opinion of ourselves. And, what we do is we look for, what does everybody else think of me? Did my mother and my father think that I was clever, or that I was beautiful, or that I would amount to something? And we kind of fall back on that as if that is the kind of default mode or the programming or whatever that we kind of run our lives with. So maybe I want you just to think about, what you're doing right now in life, and maybe just thinking for a moment, maybe you haven't been pushing yourself. Maybe you haven't been taking on that role of maybe being a writer or a content creator or a coach or a podcast or whatever. And is it because that you don't think that you are good enough? Or is it because of maybe someone else's opinion in you? Somebody who put a bad thought in you that you kind of played out for the rest of your life? And maybe if it is something maybe that is holding you back at the moment, maybe to do something that I just had seen in a TikTok video, maybe if you just take this piece of advice on for a moment. Now, I was just watching the video of a man going for a walk on this TikTok, and he just kind of said something that was really, really profound. And he said, what if you had no past? What if right now at the moment you couldn't remember what happened yesterday, or last week, or last month, or last year? What if you just kind of blocked everything out of your head? Now, I don't know about you, because a lot of us unfortunately have a lot of baggage in our past. We have all our past mistakes, all the things that went wrong, and a lot of us kind of maybe step into tomorrow with yesterday's baggage. We think, well, if I failed yesterday, it means I'll probably be a good chance I'm going to fail again today. Or if I couldn't write a book last year, well then tomorrow I shouldn't be able to write a book. But as he said, if you forget your past, if you just kind of close your eyes and imagine that today is a brand new slate, you can't remember any of the mistakes from the past. You can't remember all those opinions people had of you. You can't remember anything at all. You are just right now in this present moment. And when you think like that, it is very, very freeing, because there's nothing that is holding you back. If you were right now, in this present moment, I am sure that you would probably be a lot more courageous. I'm sure you would probably do things that you've never done before, or maybe you would push yourself a little bit more, because you're not looking backwards to look forwards. So as I said, whatever life you are living right now, I hope it's your own life, and I hope, the dreams and the goals and whatever activities you are doing now is because of what you have picked, and that it's not just someone's opinion that you have based your life on. Because as I said, a lot of us sometimes have the moments in our life where we, just like my wife, where we are called stupid, or we're called dumb, or we're called untalented, or we're called ugly, and we just live out our lives that way. So give that some thought. And as I said, if you have a lot of baggage from your past that could be holding you back right now, maybe just take on that tip that I just discovered today. Start today as if you never had a past, or as if no one had ever expressed that opinion about you, and just do the thing that you want to do. Live the life that you want to do. Do the things that you want to do, and forget about everything from the past. Have a lovely day. Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us today. If you'd like more from the Rightcome.com podcast, be sure to subscribe now for more tips, tricks, and ideas you can use to make more money from your words. See you in the next episode.